let us work on the bouncing ball that I just added here, and let's use it to test out our thinking process when you are developing something or when you are trying to solve a problem. So let's do a bouncing ball. All right, so now if you come to this, our HTML, the idea is this: bouncing ball that we want to do is just a single ball that will bounce around our screen. So it moves all around our screen. When it hits the end of the screen, it doesn't go out of the screen, it comes back. If it hits bottom, it goes back up like that, and it continues bouncing around the screen, okay? So now that is the problem that we need to solve, okay? So the first thing is to put in the HTML element that is needed. We need a div that is going to serve as our ball. So I've given it an ID ball. So this is what we will be manipulating using our JavaScript. Now, this is not looking like ball yet. So we have to use our CSS to make that, that div look like a ball. So we are going to come to our styles. And we add ID ball. This is our ball. We want it to have a width of 50 by 50, 50 pixel by 50. Okay, and we want to give it a background color so that it's visible. Background color may be red. All right, so if we run this, you see 50 by 50 is very big. So let's make it 20 by 20. Let's see. Yeah, this is better. So now we want to add border radius of 100%. This will make it round. There you have your ball. Still looking very big. Let's try 10 by 10. Seems like we have something. Okay, this is what is making it big. So let's take out this and increase this to maybe 30 by 30. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. So 50 by 50 was actually a good one. So this is our ball. All right, so you see, with our CSS, with your knowledge of CSS, you can easily achieve this. You see the way I was changing the values one by one until I get exactly what I need. So in your own case, if you are doing on your local, you know you have to run your index. And once you change, you just refresh. So this is like refreshing your browser to see the new outputs, okay? All right. So now we've added our style sheet. We need to write the JavaScript. So the first thing we want to do is you want to grab your ball because that is what you want to play around with. You want to grab your ball. You say ball equals to document.get element by ID. And this is your ball. Now, for us to move something on the screen, to move it to any position we want, we also need to make the position absolute. So let's bring this here. So we also need to make the position absolute. So we can move it with left. If we do left 30 pixels, for example, you see that the ball position will move. If we make this 300, you see that the position will move. All right. So this is the value that we need to be changing in JavaScript. Okay. So it starts, let's say 300 is fine. And from the top, you can also put 300 and it will be somewhere around the middle. Yeah, but this is not exact, but we can also do that in JavaScript to set this left and right. So let's have this at 0 to start with. So 0, it will start at the top corner here. All right. So we have our ball. Remember how to change your CSS. If we do ball.style.left, we can set it to any number of our choice. And remember, this has to be pixels. So if I do this, you see that our ball moves. And I can do the same to the top. Using the top, I can change the position to go down. So this is the two properties that I need to animate this ball. Okay. So now, the first thing I will ask myself is, how can I continuously moving this ball? So if I want to move a ball, I know that the ball has to move at a particular speed. And that is when speed comes into play. So I will come here and I define my speed. Maybe I want my speed to be constant. I can define my speed and say, okay, I want it to move maybe 20 pixels per seconds. All right. So the other thing I will ask myself is, what can I do to make this thing every seconds apply a new position? What is that function that I need to do that? All right. So that is when your knowledge of JavaScript keywords come into play here. Okay, so I'm going to introduce set interval. Set interval is a JavaScript function, is an inbuilt function in JavaScript that calls a function that is passed to it at a set interval. You have to set the interval. Okay, so it takes two parameters. The first parameter is the function to be called. So you can pass in your function here like this. And the second parameter is how, at what interval do you want this function to be called? So we want it to be called 1 second. So 1 second is 1,000. Is 1,000. That is 1 second. This is in milliseconds. This is 1,000 milliseconds, which is equal to 1 second. Okay. If you need it to be 2 seconds, then you make here 2,000. All right. So we want this function to be called every second. So let's test it out and you see what it's doing. So I put it called here. So if we run this code, you'll notice that your code will be called, look at, I'm not pressing anything. This is like a live update. It's calling this function at every seconds. It's calling this function every seconds. It's calling this function every seconds, okay? So that is what set interval does. So now we have our every second queue. So all we have to do is to write our logic that moves our ball inside this place. So in this case, we want the ball to start at the center. So in order to get your canvas size or your document or window height and width, you can use, let's say, width equals to window.inner width. So window is also a JavaScript keyword, just like your document. So it's an object that holds more information about the window that is about your browser window that your website is loaded on. So this one will give us the width of the screen that you are on. And we can also grab the height like this, inner height, like this. So this is the width, this is the height of our window. That is where your browser is. All right, so we want the left to start at, remember template stuff. We want it to start at width. Remember, left goes horizontal, so it's width. Width divided by 2. That will put it at the center. And we want the height, the position of the top to be height divided by 2, which means it's going to start at the center. So if we run this, you will see that our ball starts at the center, okay? So now this is the position that we need to be animating. So every second, we want to change the left position by the speed. So in other words, we are going to grab the current left position plus the speed. Do you understand? The current left position plus the speed. So we print our style.left to know what that value is bringing in for us. So when you read the value, this is your current position of this ball. This is the position. But we cannot do an addition with this left because it has a pixel, which means this is not a number, it's a string, okay? So we can't do, this will not give us the solution we want. So for that reason, we are going to create another variable to hold our current position of left and current position of the top. So here, because it's going to be changing, we are going to use let. So we say position y equals to, when I say y, it means vertical axis, okay? It means we need the height divided by 2, which is what we need. And we need position x, which is the horizontal axis. We need the width divided by 2. And we can substitute this one now with the variable and remove the division, okay? So there you go. The same thing it will do, but in this case, we have a number now to calculate with. So at every interval, we want to change our position x by the speed, the amount of speed, all right? And we want to also change position y by the amount of speed. So if we plug in our, this is left, so left is your position x. If you change this to your position X after plusing 20, now you will see what happens. You see that your ball is moving left. At every seconds, is moving left. Now, this is not as smooth as we need it. So we are going to reduce the speed. So we're going to be calling it every 300 milliseconds. So this will make it faster. You see that it's not as smooth as also. So let's reduce it more until we get something that we need, okay? So this is soft light speed. So let's see. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, I think 50 is enough. Yeah, 50 is good, but you notice that our ball goes off the screen, okay? So that we will fix in a few. But let's add the top movement, and we also want to put it to position Y, okay? So this is not the best way of animating objects on the screen, by the way, but I just want to use this to tell us how we reason to solve problem. All right. So you see that is moving both left and also the top. You see that. So now our next challenge now is that this ball is always going across the screen. It's going across the screen. So this is now where you will start implementing your logical reasoning. Okay, this has nothing to do with the code. When I say logical reasoning, it has nothing to do with code. All right. So this is where you first of all think as a human being, how do I prevent this ball from going under? How do I prevent this ball from going under? Now, I can immediately see that, okay, we know the height of this screen. We know the height, we know the width. So we know our position of our ball. So that is something that we can use to detect, all right? So let us put something like this so that you know, you understand what I'm saying. This is our Y, position Y. This is your X, position X. I want to reduce the speed of this so that it doesn't flood, so you can be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is our current position X, position Y. Also, remember that we know the height. This is the height of our window, and this is the width of our window, okay? So we have these two values. So if we run this, you see that for every render, it is telling us the position of X and Y. Now, this is the size of our screen, 542, which is the height, and the width is 674. So now you see the position of our ball keep increasing. So this is like a loop, and the number keep increasing at every iteration, okay? So we can easily check if this number is now greater than this. We should know that it is out of the screen. Because this number is greater than this one, we should know that it is out of screen. Now, that is, it has nothing to do with code, okay? That is us just thinking logically. So if our ball is moving and is changing at every time, we know that if we already know the height and we know the position Y of our ball at every point in time, we should be able to detect when the ball is going off screen, whether through the Y-axis or through the X-axis, okay? So now, since we've logically reasoned it that way, it is now time to translate that our reasoning into code. Okay, so with the help of if statement, we can check if we can also put it at the top here, or here, anyone will work actually. So if our position X that is changing is now greater or equal to the height, if it's not greater or equal to height, let's comment out this one. We want to print console.log out of screen from, sorry, this is position Y, by the way, from Y axis. We can do the same for position X. If it's greater or equal to width, we say out of screen by X axis, from X axis, okay? So if we run this again, you will see it keeps moving smoothly, nothing is happening. Then out of screen, you see, it's showing out of screen, which means the ball is out of view. So that is already telling us something, okay? So now, the next challenge is to say we want to bounce this ball back to where it is coming from. We want to bounce it back. Now, remember that it went downward, which means the number is increasing downward. And remember that we are adding 20, which is the speed. We are adding 20, which is the speed, okay? So because we are adding 20 at every 400 milliseconds, we are adding 20 to the movement. This is positive number. We know logically, if we add negative number to a positive number or even a negative number, it will go reverse. So that is thinking logically now. We are thinking, okay, if we are doing positive addition, once it hits this place whereby our condition is not true, in order for us to reverse the movement of the ball, all we have to do is to negate the speed from positive to negative. All right, this is not coding, this is us thinking logically. If we are increasing the position of the ball, it's going down. If we start decreasing the position of the ball, it will start going up. Okay, so in order for us to do this, we need to dictate when it's out of screen, then we reverse the movement to go the other way. All right, and to achieve that, we can do that with the speed. The speed is positive, we can negate the speed to make it minus 20 or minus whatever our speed is, okay? So in order to achieve that, we want to say whenever it is out of screen, rather than doing a console, we want to change our speed. Remember, times equal to operator minus 1. So if we times our current speed with minus 1, it will negate the value. So if you say 20 times minus 1, it's going to give you minus 20. If you say minus 20 times minus 1, it's going to give you plus 20. So this is going to do what? Always reverse our ball, okay? So we can also do the same here, but because we are using the same speed, this is not going to work well. but let's give it a spin, then we'll fix the issue later, okay? Because I can already think ahead to know what the problem is going to be. But let's run it so that we all see what the problem is, okay? So we run this code, and you see our ball going up, 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 then it gets there, and okay, we made our speed constant. All right, so we want the speed to be changing now, so we have to change it to let. We test that again. It's going down. Then you see it start going up again. When it hits the bottom, it starts going up again. You notice that? When it goes out of screen from the top, it doesn't come back down. That is another problem we need to solve. But let's fix this. You see how the ball started reversing, okay? But it's not as I would like it because it didn't go out of the Y. So for that reason, we are going to control the speed. We are going to change the speed to speed X and speed Y, okay? The same speed that they will have. So here, we are going to do speed X, and here we are going to do speed Y, okay? Because we want to control them individually. So when it goes away from the position Y, we want to change only speed Y. And when it goes through X, we want to change position X, okay? So let's run this and you see the different behavior now. See the way the ball will behave differently. You see that? Do you see now? It first of all bounced here and come this way, then bounced here and started going back up, okay? So that is what we need. That's the behavior we need. So now let us fix the top. Now remember that when it's going down, it is increasing. And when it's going up, it is decreasing. So you should know that at the top here, the height will be, here will be 0. And at the bottom left here will be also 0. So in order for us to take care of that case, we are going to say, if our position Y is greater or equal to our height, or our position Y is less than or equal to 0. So this way is going to also check, is it going out of the screen from the top? This one is checking, is it going out of the screen from the bottom? This one, is it going out of the screen from the top? All right, so we implement the same here to say position X less than or equal to 0. Remember, your position X keeps decreasing. So it will reduce until it goes below 0. Once it goes below 0, we want to switch the speed. If it is negative before, we want to switch it to positive. If it is positive before, we want to switch it to negative, okay? So if we run this now, let's see our bouncing ball moving. You see that it bounces up there, although it's going a little bit off screen, which we will fix later. But take a look at the 0 now. You see how it bounced smoothly there. Do you see how it bounced smoothly on the 0? So because our ball have a height and we have not taken care of the ball height. So let's make a variable called ball height or ball dimension, because both are the same. So we say 50 because we set our ball to be 50 pixels. So now here you have to do what? You have to minus or add to this to take care of the ball height. So here we can say plus ball dimension greater than this. And here we can say plus ball dimension greater than this. So if we run this now, you will see that the ball will bounce more smoothly on the wall without going inside. You see that? It bounces more smoothly without going inside. Okay? All right. So we can also make it move smoother by reducing the amount of space it takes. And we can take this one back to 100. And if we run this, you see, let's make it faster. It's getting slow. Yeah, there you go.